Jerry. Nico and UCLA have stunned the college football world and taken down Penn State in an upset nobody saw coming.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Locked On UCLA podcast. I'm your host, Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer. We're reacting to the UCLA win over Penn State. A dominant, crazy game that we never saw UCLA could have had. Nobody could have thought this. Nico Iamaleava must have known Tennessee had a bye this week, so he showed out in front of the national audience for UCLA to take down Penn State. Jerry Neuheisel, the Bruins, just a few days before this game against Penn State, switched play callers. The second coordinator of the Bruins have switched in season, and against a usually formidable Penn State defense, the Bruins came out and had one of the best halves, one of the best performances we've seen by a UCLA football team in quite some time. I think they said the stat, UCLA is the first team in 40 years since 1985 to come out and be a winless team of 0-4 or more and beat a top 10 team. Like, this is as stunning as it gets. This is a team that couldn't beat New Mexico. Oh, by the way, what did they do yesterday? New Mexico lost to San Jose State. UNLV. Well, UNLV's looked mediocre as an undefeated team heading into the weekend. Oh, what else has UCLA done? Lost to one of the worst Big Ten teams in the country at Northwestern last weekend and looked lifeless in these last few games, especially at home. The thought that, all right, it's a dead Rose Bowl. There's nothing there. Lots of Penn State fans out surrounding everything. And the Bruins came out, and with Jerry Neuheisel calling plays, the Bruins go down, score a touchdown, onside it, and one of the most beautifully executed onside kicks I've ever seen. And get it easily. Score again. Penn State comes down, scores. Bruins like, no. We're going to go down, score. Like, this is a physicality that we hadn't seen from the UCLA side offensively and defensively. Just for minutes to hold on and do the unthinkable. Like, this is a game UCLA was an underdog by close to 25 points. I don't even remember exactly what the final line was, whether it's 24.5, 25.5, 26. Give me all the points. I thought this team would get blown out, and rightfully so. Whoever thought UCLA would be closer than 30 points, 25 points, 20 points, would have been there's one thing about an emotional letdown for Penn State after a whiteout loss, double overtime at home to Oregon. And hey, this was the thing. They come west. They hadn't traveled. Penn State hasn't gone anywhere, hasn't played anybody other than Oregon last week. And UCLA in a game where a team that's ready to compete with some energy would come out and showcase like they did to begin against Penn State. Say, hey, we're going to take it to you. Like, there's no reason team couldn't do that. But sometimes, if you look back in years past, maybe the good UCLA team couldn't have done what this UCLA team has done today. Nico dropping the balls in a bucket. I just had my show talking about how his draft stock's fallen. But he has time, potentially, and maybe options in the portal. And with a big game like this, has put himself on the map. A Bruin legend. Just from one game, from one of the worst teams I've ever seen UCLA field to one of the best moments we've had in years. And sometimes when you have what was seemingly a lost year like this, you need those iconic moments. Ironically, one of the biggest moments last year was Vandy taking out Alabama. It's the same day we got today. Crazy potential upsets all across the board. Close games, weird scores throughout the whole afternoon slate of games here in the college football season. All right, and it's October in Los Angeles. Our eyes are turned to Philadelphia. Yeah, they're still in Pennsylvania, but we're watching Dodgers-Phillies, right? No. UCLA, my goodness. Tim Skipper comes in and making some crazy calls. You have the banner over there saying flying over the stadium. I was there, but you look at it, flying over, and it says fire Martin Jarmans. And you're like, what do you do now? Does Tim Skipper get a chance at this job? Is Jerry Neuheisel just going to stay as the offensive coordinator? Maybe one of the most highly coveted coordinators. Now, obviously, bring in Noah Mazzoni, and you simplify things. But UCLA showcasing 8 yards a pop on some of these runs. 3rd and 10, they're getting first downs, going against the grain, making plays that we didn't think were possible for UCLA. And for all the hate watching from the Tennessee fans, what can you say? Nico made plays, making throws that on 3rd down, deep down the field, putting drive after drive. And somehow the defense making some plays in this game. Like, what? Against Penn State? Now the idea is, yes, Penn State goes down. And does this mean you fire James Franklin? they let down in the big game, and they get beat down by one of the worst teams we've seen to this point in college football. Is 8-4 in reality? Hey, we do an 8 clap, and it might be to 8-4. And if they do that, I thought there's no chance Tim Skipper would get the job. I didn't think you go like this and you come out and you showcase that. Is there any chance UCLA could do something in this game? I'm just blown away with the way the Bruins played in this game. Stunning, everything. Oh my goodness. It's mind-boggling. There's no words for what the Bruins came out and showcased, because there's nothing that proved this UCLA team could have done this. Like, there are some teams you hope, all right, maybe they come out, they showcase a little fight. No. The Bruins have executed, and the moments of truth, it seemed like the Bruins outcoached James Franklin and company with coaches who've either never called plays before, had been there for a week, and have game planned so much that they knew that guy was going to bail on the kick return, and you just pooch in a perfect onside kick opportunity. Just drop it in there. Drop it in the bucket, and the Bruins get it. Executed. And we've seen this from last week with the likes of, UCLA going for it, fake punt against Northwestern, and they got it. So maybe there's showcase the positivity, or sometimes you're extremely positive. I certainly haven't been. Nobody's been in the UCLA camp. It's been fire this dude, fire that dude, everything you're reading about UCLA, fire the AD, fire the coach. This is a horrible spot. And they come out and do something like this. Unbelievable. Of the most shocking upsets you've seen in the college football history, right? I was talking with Zach Seiko, where if UCLA has an upset of epic proportion, this is up there in terms of biggest upsets, biggest Big Ten upsets, biggest upsets nationally. And we've been waiting for a UCLA moment like this for years. Something where they're on the national stage, have a chance as a big underdog to come out and make plays and just dominate a team that should have come in and beat them by 30, whacked them. Maybe this generates some buzz in the Rose Bowl. Maybe this generates something that we didn't know. Maybe this questions everybody's thought process of firing Martin Drummond. I'm not saying that you change your mind about him. This has nothing to do with him. This is a lot about Tim Skipper, the belief in the staff, and what they've concocted as a plan. But it is a little weird. How do you handle all that? A lot of emotion stirring up, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, with the UCLA team that had no business caring about this game. They hadn't showcased that like they did against New Mexico in the last game for Deshaun Foster, or even getting down 3 scores in a game like they did against Northwestern. But here the Bruins are coming through, making plays, and doing the absolute unthinkable in just utterly dominating a Penn State team that nobody thought could do it. A Rose Bowl that you might think could have been 60-40 Penn State fans, whatever it might have been. And here's UCLA doing just everything possible to just blow your mind and showcase why college football is arguably one of the greatest things in, that this country can offer in terms of sporting craziness that the world can offer. That's why this sport is so beautiful. And it's been so crushing for 4 to 5 weeks. And then out of nowhere, Nico shuts me up. Tim Skipper shuts me up. Everybody for a UCLA outlet, fandom, everything. There's no chance you could have thought that UCLA would come out here and showcase the toughness, the grit, and the tenacity. Now, this team did something like this last year where they were horrible, 1-5, and then turned it around. And they were able to compete with Penn State in Beaver Stadium a year ago with the backup quarterback. And now UCLA with a different play caller, a new wrinkle, a much better quarterback, and somehow scheming for what Penn State had to offer. The Bruins came out, and it's just again and again. This is a performance that probably forces James Franklin to lose his job. Maybe not now, but later, or something that gets that buyout immediately gotten. And something that makes us consider, with all these coaching openings, maybe UCLA's found the guy that within just 2 months of being with the program has led to UCLA's victory over Penn State, one of the biggest UCLA wins in history. Think about all the near upsets, their near misses. And the Bruins come through and do something so shocking that nobody within their right mind could have predicted the Bruins losing within 2 scores. And it's just absolutely nonsensical what the Bruins have been able to do against Penn State in this one. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right, a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And it makes football watching, it's more exciting when you got a little something riding on the action. Maybe you gambled and you went crazy in terms of the huge opportunity with UCLA trying to come through and maybe beat Penn State. Maybe you have that foresight. What are you waiting for then? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started. That's going to do it for this shocking edition of Locked On UCLA. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Man, from potential UCLA craziness, we thought 0-5 to 1-4, and the Bruins come through with the most shocking, crazy results in the college football world that we've seen this year, let alone in years. In years. 8-4 possibility? Jerry, Nico turning around everybody's optics, at least in this game. Does that help his NFL draft stock that I thought was non-existent in this game? I'm not sure, but the Bruins holding on and winning it is huge. Hands up, Bruins fans. 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA, fight. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach signing off. Stunned as always. We'll have more talking about it throughout the weekend. Go Bruins.